It's going to be a run for Lego Star Wars, the video game. I'm Steak, and I have my brother here, Heisenburger,
Hello.
and we are having commentary from Zulus and Cluesto.
Hello.
And if you guys want to say
Hi.
something,
I'll start. I'm Coolesто. I've been playing this game since about 2018.
Zolas, I'm on page 1 of the Lego speedrunning history books.
both dinosaurs of Lego Star Wars, the video game. And we just started playing like a year ago. And I think we are ready to start the run. Time starts when we click on new game and stops when we press the last input on the last level. Okay. We're good to start?
Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Alright. So 3, 2, 1, and let's go. I'll leave the commentary to you guys.
All right, so MiSTake is going to be running the any percent category. So for the any percent category, we have to complete episodes 1, 2, and 3. Episode 1 is the only one that's open at first, so we have to play level 1, and that is negotiations.
We gotta watch cutscenes.
Yes, unfortunately, this game is from before TT had the marvelous idea of no cuts. So we will unfortunately need to watch cutscenes in the intro and outro of every level in this run.
Right at the first
They're
level,
fun,
we
though.
got a few hard tricks like droid push. Droid push is kind of tricky sometimes.
Right, yes. So in this first room, at the end of this first hallway, we're going to encounter TC-14, the protocol droid. And normally on the first time you play on a new save file, when you swap to TC-14, it's going to play a little bit of a cinematic, kind of showing you that you can activate droid panels with droids. But in order to skip that, we can push TC directly to the panel and activate it very quickly before the cinematic starts. And so you're going to see MiSTake do that here. Oh,
Sometimes, though,
unfortunately.
unfortunate.
For a
You
little
can
bit.
also sometimes use the panel during that cinematic, but ideally you just want to completely skip it.
And then in this next room, we're going to be doing a transition skip. This is one of the main tricks of the run. By pushing an AI character through a load transition to go back a room, in a lot of these levels, there's no collision behind those load zones to keep you from going out of bounds. And then we can just walk directly to the end level trigger from here.
Out of bounds is really interesting and convenient in this game. Well, really all Lego games, so all early Lego games, whereas if you keep moving, you'll maintain your height and you can just kind of do whatever you want.
Right. And if you noticed, the character was upside down while they were under the floor. There was an upside down version of them above the floor. That's just a fun little quirk of a little programming hack that TT used for the reflections in this game. The reflections are literally just rendering another instance of the game reflected across the floor. And so when you're under the floor, you get reflected back over the floor.
What happened there? Why did we leave episode 1?
I'm not
Yes.
going for
So,
Naboo.
so the optimal route for any percent is for Maul to be the last played level, and that is because Maul has the longest outro cutscene. And since timing ends when you complete the level, when you stop giving inputs, we don't have to time that very long cutscene if we play it last. I think
Still
Zulus.
promise I'm not trolling. Yeah, I was gonna say I still promise I'm not trolling anyone. That's real.
I was gonna say Zulus is the one that enlightened the community on this so many years ago.
While we're in Coruscant, do you have time for a couple of quick donations?
Absolutely. Great time.
Well, thank you very much. We have had $25 from Bionicle Speedruns, and they say heroes on top. And we've also had $1 from Carter Tabin, or Tabin, I apologize for the mispronunciations. And they say $1 to kill the goons, which is unfortunately closed, so maybe we can get that reallocated. They also say good luck, runners. And we are now $3 away from 1,000 raised this LEGOthon.
Ooh, very close to that milestone. I hope we hit it soon. Coruscant, unfortunately, is a very boring level. It's mostly an auto-scroller. There are some strats to speed up, but not by a whole lot. So by running the ships into each other, and also by hugging the sides of the camera that the camera is moving towards, you can save in total around 13 to 14 seconds in this level versus a casual playthrough. Unfortunately, there's no super cool sequence breaks or out of bounds or anything. At least not yet.
Not yet. Not without mods.
The next level is going to have a couple of important tech that you're going to see throughout the run, so I'll kind of explain ahead a little bit. One of those is going to be drop-in warps, which are seen in a lot of LEGO games. Basically, while an AI character is off screen, there are sometimes times where you can drop them in and it'll warp you ahead in the level, or possibly to somewhere you shouldn't be. Although this game in particular does have a tendency not to let you go places you shouldn't be, as some later games would let you. The
Just
other main
wonder-
tech. Oh,
I was gonna say they're mostly pretty tame in this, where they just allow characters to catch up to you faster than they should.
right. The other main tech is wrong warping. So this game works kind of similarly to Super Mario Bros. 1, if you're familiar with wrong warps in that game. Basically, a lot of the doors in this game don't have hard-coded destinations, and rather they're going to take you to whatever room is loaded in memory at that time. Now, this is kind of it's called level streaming. It's a bit of a hack to reduce load times on console, especially on some slower consoles loading from disk. But so that's going to allow us to, by manipulating our position, to hit a door that should take us back a room, but actually skips us ahead. And you'll see a couple of those in this next level as well as throughout the run.
I like that we actually know how they work now, and we can label them as wrong warps.
This is my "I told you I'm not crazy" moment, because not when wrong warps were first found, because there was a single player setup that was found before I joined, but when we found the next two wrong warps that are in this level, they're called two-player warps found by Blue Pinata. It was just my hunch that was about how it worked, but I couldn't prove it. I wasn't able to prove it for about a year until we got the debug menu, which allows us to see when rooms are being loaded.
We're gonna see going out of bounds again, just to skip some just general stuff that the game wants you to do, but just walking past it is so much faster.
Yep, just avoiding some enemies, avoiding some platforming, avoiding having to force things. It's really a lot of A to B in this game. This is the first wrong warp that you'll see. That one's a really funny one. For whatever reason, as soon as you're out of bounds in that room, it immediately loads the next room. So it's a very easy one to pull off.
Especially knowing the original method of that, it's like that's assuming it works exactly the same way. It just shows that the area to load the next room is very lenient.
Right, yes. Because the original setup for that would have been for you to do it with one player. You would go out of bounds and then hit it from behind without using player 2 at all. It's kind of surprising that that would work. In this elevator, you're going to see the first drop-in warp. Very fast. And that elevator is deceptively long. The drop-in warp makes it look much shorter than it really is, but you're skipping quite a while of walking down that elevator.
Fortunate R2 drop-in.
And then here again, we have another drop-in warp. That is the second so-called 2-player warp. Unfortunately, these are the only 2 that are so simple.
Yeah, can go on. I just made a little commentary.
We're going to see some good 1P2C in this room.
No, we're not. We're going to
Well,
see
I suppose it's not 1P2C, it's 2P2C. My mistake. Mistake mention.
This is the correct way to play the game. If you're not playing this game with your brother, you're playing it wrong.
Yes, co-op is very epic. 1P2C is just a sad way for us to cope with the fact that we can't find someone to co-op with.
1P2C is just like hugging yourself alone in your room.
All right, and that is Chancellor, one of the densest, most trick-heavy levels in this. Well, maybe
Grievous.
Certainly we skip a lot. And then, yes, here we go into Grievous. Grievous is now the shortest split in the entire run due to the skip found here.
Do not understand how this works at all, so please explain.
So I think my understanding is it's basically just a spacing thing. You're shooting Grievous at a time where his block animation is going to stop before the bolt hits him. But then the other half of that is the game only checks to see if the fight, what's the word? The fight state, or like the, Lord, I can't find it. Sorry. It only sees if it should advance to the next stage of the fight while you're standing on the big center platform. So by jumping back and forth, we're able to damage Grievous without it advancing the fight script. So he never jumps around. We never have to blow up any bombs. We just get to shoot him.
Unfortunately, Grievous does not work like any other boss in this game. If there were a way to get him near the bombs without advancing his fight script, you would be able to quick kill him like other bosses. Because after you hit him once, the game just turns invincibility on for him. The bombs don't damage him. Just once the flags are triggered that says the bombs are gone, he just instantly takes a heart of damage.
Oh, that's interesting. I guess that makes sense, right? Because you can detonate the bombs early and he still takes damage from them being gone.
That was the first thing we ever learned from looking at the game files.
So here, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be seeing KDYF. We are seeing a very cool little, yes, using Chewbacca to make that forcing go a little faster. Very cool strat. So unfortunately,
cutscene.
We do have to watch Order 66. We can't rescue the Jedi.
Yeah, he didn't hold down the Z button. Yeah. So typically there is a skip for this whole section, but it's honestly in a co-op run, it just feels dirty to do that because it's just such a long section of one controller.
That's true. It's also extremely difficult. I'm not even sure. Besides me, Elle, and Seed, are there other people that have done KDYF and runs? I'm not sure. I think it might just be us.
On PC, there are many runners that actually pulled off KDYF.
Oh, I'm a fraud then. My bad. I don't run PC, so
like
I'm
almost
unfamiliar.
The whole top 10, I think.
Oh, wow. That's surprising. Back in the day, especially, it had a very, like a reputation for being very difficult.
There's a few sections here where you kind of just abuse dropouts to move the camera a little faster and not have to wait for other players. Otherwise, you just free the 3 Wookiees and move on to the beach.
There is a very silly Yoda fly in this beach room, but it doesn't save time, or if it does save time, it's like a second, and
I
it's
think it
very
will time
difficult for
out
no
too.
reason.
You should start using it in runs. Forget KDYF, KTYF. Yeah, and then this room exists. Go from point A to point B.
So this out of bounds is unfortunately quite tricky. There's a couple of triggers there at the beginning. Yoda is constantly in this game. Yoda moves by hopping everywhere. So when you try to out of bounds move with him, he really wants to just jump out of the ground. So for that reason, MiSTAKE is slashing in order to keep him from coming back up.
It's also tricky because there's a lot of empty, kind of like empty pockets of out of bounds where it's not treated as traditional out of bounds. So you can't jump in it. You just start falling. So
Right.
you have to maneuver those correctly. And
That's
kind of
especially
fall
an
into the
issue
next
right
one.
under the gate, because the gap that you have to move through is also very narrow. So if you miss that gap while you're in that space where there's no collision, you just fall and you have to restart the room.
You just force the lanterns and slash them. Can't shoot them all quickly because no Chewie. I get. Would there be a way to carry both characters out of bounds, or would that be ridiculously
You
complicated?
could. It could be a co-op strat. The problem would just be that Yoda is so much faster than Chewbacca, so you would have to like move in circles to allow him to keep up.
Leave stuff
I,
to its floor
I
for the
definitely wouldn't
cast.
try to 1P2 see it, but maybe
No,
it could be a co-op strat.
maybe. More likely just a task strat.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. Ruin of the Jedi.
We do get to control Yoda again in this level. Yoda has a lot of things going for him, especially in the 80% run. He's very fast, so we're going to use him every time that we can. Unfortunately, this is about the last level. Um, Technically, you would play him in Dooku, but we're going to be skipping that.
Here we can make use of Yoda flying to skip this little gap to just avoid forcing some stairs or doing a jump. It's just slightly more direct movement.
Yoda flying can be used over great distances and lengths, although the timing required to not lose height over distance is quite tight. But there are some crazy things that can be done with it.
And here we just skip all the levers, all the clones, and just go underground.
Yeah, I always forget about that room in commentary because it's just been so long since I played it normally, but that does skip quite a bit of content. There's 3 separate kind of platforming sections that are, especially if you're controlling Yoda, kind of a pain to do.
Doing it just feels so normal that the first couple times people tried to do glitchless runs, they absentmindedly did this.
Yes.
Okay, this is a very interesting level for co-op. It's pretty much different than the solo one, so it's a really cool level. It's really fun. Got many co-op strats that you don't usually see on solo 1%. So keep an eye.
Yeah, you start off with a drop-in warp here, and then I don't know if it's just co-op or what they choose
Oh
to do.
yeah.
They
Okay, yeah. So player 2 hits
instantly
the
reload the
transition to
room.
load the room, and then 1P2C to open the door. Nice.
Yeah, yeah. In solo, you would
Not
use the
1P2C.
pillar to
My bad.
clip. You.
Solo brain rot. My bad. Maybe by the end of this run, I'll start saying co-op.
Yeah. One of the handful of rooms that are still done just normally till this day.
Technically, it's a little bit better than normally.
Yeah.
Kind of skipping one of the gas fixtures, but
Didn't jump on the invisible collision invalid run.
all right. And we're going to see a full co-op run of this room, likely for safety. The tower in this room has an interesting property that will sometimes cause you to soft lock your run. You'd have to restart the level, basically due to an error in double jump calculations. If you double jump while sliding up a slope like that tower, sometimes your character will just disappear, and there's no
Affectionately
coming back
called
from that.
going to hell.
All right, and this is the end of episode 3, the first completed episode. MiSTake is going to save and then reset the console here, and that's to skip an episode end cutscene that will play at the end of each episode. GameCube especially, the reset sequence is pretty short, so it is fast for all of the episode end cutscenes.
PS2 reset sequence, Monk S.
Even PS2 can reset on episode 3. It's just not episode
Yeah.
2.
Well, it's like PS2's reset is just so long though. It's like
But it's
even
iconic.
even Xbox's reset is faster, and you have to fully turn off the Xbox to do that. All right, on to episode 2. We're gonna go. We kind of just go backwards in this.
Right. And the reason that episode 3 is first, so we explained earlier that we want to do episode 1 last because of the mall outro cutscene. But the reason that episode 3 is done first is because the first time you return to the diner, you happen to spawn close to the episode 3 door. So it just saves a couple of seconds to do it in that order.
Is this technically a drop in warp too?
This is a
Yes, it
drop-in
is.
warp, and this is actually the one drop-in warp where it really takes you somewhere you shouldn't be able to go. Practically every other drop-in warp is somewhere that you can walk to, but that one in particular will take you across that gap with no bridge.
Also, an interesting note for 3 before 2, this is old and outdated, but part of why we used to do it was because we would have Yoda at the end of episode 2, so we would use Yoda for faster diner movement.
Oh, big brain.
Yeah. Otherwise, I think it's only like a second or two that it still
Yeah, it's very
saves.
slight.
Yeah, before it was like 3.5, 4 seconds or something. Yeah, we'll go out
Got a
of
big
bounds
out of
again.
bounds skip here. We're gonna do another big out of bounds here. Camino is quite out of bounds heavy.
Yeah, cutscenes, we don't need them.
Yes, so actually, these 2 out of bounds each skip a cutscene, so they do save quite a bit of time to that, in addition to not having to open doors and such.
Lone cutscene skip was the caveat that originally brought me back to this game. I don't even know why. It's not even a major thing, but yeah.
Yeah, the clones cutscene is only about 12 seconds, I think.
I just hated it. Anyway,
Less
they jumped
cutscenes, more
around those
better.
bombs, so you could they could continue moving forward without dying. Because those bombs like have deceptively small hitboxes. Like you can actually just hold full right there and get the first two.
Yeah, I think in a casual playthrough, I didn't even leave the bridge and I managed to survive. I was very surprised by that.
Yeah.
Here we'll see another out of bounds. This is known as Camino clip.
This is the
Basically,
oldest out of
we're gonna
bounds.
the respawn point gets set inside of the pile of bricks when they stand there, and then the bricks push them up off of it. When the droids kill them, they respawn standing where they had stood inside of the bricks, which lets them walk through the wall. And yeah, as Zola said, that was the first one found. Unfortunately, no quick kill for this boss fight either. Just being good at the intended strats. And after this boss fight, unfortunately, we move into the longest cinematic break in the game. Not only is the outro cutscene for Camino quite long, but the intro cutscene for Droid Factory, which is right after, is the longest in the game, clocking in at something like 1 minute and 20 seconds, I think.
Usually known as the bathroom break for speedrunners.
Yes, this is a great time for a bathroom break, a water break.
Yeah.
Remember to hydrate.
Yeah, two of the longest cutscenes back to back, but unfortunately they have menuing between them, so you can't use both of them.
That is the one downside. Well, if you had a wave bird,
Hey, guess who has a wave bird? Guess who has two wave birds?
that might be the strat. Maybe I need a wave bird.
Hey, the
While
funny
we're
number
in this
changed.
break, can I say a couple of words?
Absolutely.
So I'm just refreshing to make sure. Ah, there it is.
Yeah, the funny number went
So
up.
we have hit $1,000 for LEGOthon 2025. Zulus, you were plotting something, weren't you? We have $3 from Zulus, and we have $2 from Anonymous,
Oh,
and Anonymous says bruh with a smiley face. And we are also only $21 away from raising $9,000 for Extra Life across all LEGOthon events.
Tight.
That is very exciting. So back to you guys.
shout out Zolas for the sneaky donation. Beat me to it.
Nice. Oh boy, doing this part co-op means that you don't have to slow down a tiny
Optimal.
bit. Mistime jump slash, unfortunate. So here you just keep jumping so you don't get caught by the movement of the platforms, and you can also get a light boost off of the droidica there by landing on the edge of its shield.
The end of this room is a very fun wall that we call Derp Wall. And that's
Love
because you
Derp
can
Wall.
just go right through it.
We will never call it anything else.
My theory is that the door was probably under there before, and then they raised it when they added the fan and forgot to change the collision.
Yeah.
Here we'll see another cool little co-op strat, bringing Anakin all the way to the panel with R2. This is going to save just a little bit of time, as Anakin will be able to hit the door at the end of the room just that much sooner than you
Seen
would
this in 10 years.
walking around with R2. This is certainly not something that I would try to do 1P2C.
Oh, and you don't
Definitely.
even have to bother flying over it, too.
Yep.
Force the next platform early. Force the next platform early. Good. So you can force that second platform before the first one stops moving. But no one does it.
If only you could move the camera just a little bit to do it even earlier.
Yeah. I think the weird movement of the camera makes it not actually even any faster, but it's probably about the same. So there was a little jump shot to shoot a platform, or not a platform, but shoot something early so you can force this to create a platform.
Unfortunately, they didn't hit it this time, but it is possible sometimes to force that bridge during the cutscene by mashing the force button. It is quite difficult though, especially with that camera. There's an alternate camera that makes it a little bit easier. Unfortunately, we really don't use cutscene forcing anywhere in the run anymore. Now that Grievous is the way that it is, that used to be a hotspot for it. This trick is known as bomb skip because we're skipping using a bomb to blow up the little door that's blocking our way. It's quite a
Bomb skip.
difficult platforming jump. MiSTake hits it
Kind
first try like a pro.
Stand outside of the wall, out of bounds, and force everything from there.
Yeah. And the jump is really precise because you're standing inside the wall and you can't pop out or else you're in bounds. And if you go too far the other way, you fall and you have to walk back and reset. Very little
Yeah, the
swim
hardest part
opportunity.
of the jump is if you are too far left, you fall, too right, and you pop back in bounds. So it's a pretty tight space where you go and
Yes.
you stay out of bounds and you can force the cuffs.
Jedi Battle is an interesting level. Awful in its own ways.
Thankfully, we do have a very special practice tool that does aim to make Jedi Battle a little bit less awful. But
Really? Tell me more. Yeah, but you'll see co-op fighting here. Some solo runners will just do 1P2C for this, but doing it co-op is a little cleaner than that, which just increases the speed of these little fights.
yeah, so the first half of this level is nice and consistent. But as soon as this last group of droids is eradicated, we're going to move into phase 2 of this level, which we have been calling hide and seek for a very long time, where droids will spawn somewhat randomly around the arena, and we have to hunt them down and kill them before we can progress. I say somewhat randomly because the fact that we reset right before episode 2 means that it's fairly consistent as to which spawn patterns you'll get here. Most of the time, there's only about 3 that you'll really hit. We seem to be on a good one because that first guy was there.
That's the cycle you want. But then even with the cycles, there is a slight bit of RNG in their movements, and just sometimes something will be standing in front of them and you'll think
This is
it's not
true.
there.
Oh,
It's like-
especially the fire that you can see on the left right here. If a droid is standing behind that, you're
over.
gonna have a hard time finding them.
It's like should be consistent, but it's very psychologically inconsistent. You can easily trick yourself that you're on a bad cycle. And everyone knows about Django Quick Kill. We don't have to say anything about it.
Yes, thankfully this boss fight does have a quick kill, very convenient bomb here that we can
This
just
was
walk
used in
Django directly
2013.
into.
Over 12 years old, that quick kill.
A beautiful little oversight that the bombs also apply to enemies, not just us.
Especially the bosses. You can also it's obviously super inconsistent, but you can have those bombs also blow up the guys in hide and seek.
That is true. Some of them do spawn pretty close to some bombs.
Yeah.
Here we're going through another beautiful auto-scroller. Thankfully, this auto-scroller is only for half a level, and then there's a mashing skill check at the end.
26 or Riot.
I guess to be fair, it's not completely an auto-scroller. There is a trick to save time in this. I'm not sure if MiSTake does it or not. It only saves a couple of seconds, and it's very annoying if you miss it. But yes, they are going for it. So right there, we take an intentional death, and we respawned not at the beginning of the level, but instead at the halfway checkpoint, which is about 3 seconds ahead of where MiSTake went off the cliff. So a small little time save. Not everybody goes for it because if you miss it, you're losing like 40 seconds, and it's very silly.
That much.
I don't know. It's definitely like 20 to 30. I don't know if it's as far as 40.
Like I want to say probably like 25 seconds, but we also know my estimates are not great.
I think it's like 35 seconds, if I'm not mistaken.
Here we'll see another nice little co-op strat where we have both gunships shooting at once. Make shooting these lasers a little bit faster.
Yeah. You could potentially end up doing this without slowing down at all.
Gunship is probably 50% responsible for the state of my hands.
25 is
It's a
respectable.
terrible level.
Yeah, especially when you deliberately try to go for 27 all the time.
Yeah, especially on one controller.
Yeah.
Gunship is a very mash heavy level. It's just how fast can you mash?
You just need to plug in a keyboard for it. That's the only time a keyboard is good.
All right, so this will be the last level of episode 2. Unfortunately, episode 2 didn't get quite the same amount of love as episode 1 and 3, so only 5 levels in this one. And also, unfortunately, this level is home to a very silly trick. Nice little flush there, though, on the Genosians. All 5 with red guns. That's a 50% chance for each.
Awesome. And you can force those levers early on GameCube.
Yes, GameCube exclusive.
Weird
Shout
camera
out
there.
GameCube.
Yeah. And also this next trick that's coming up. It's can be done on everything, but only 2 versions have to do it. But this is the only one you will ever actually see being run that does it.
Yeah, so thankfully, we got very lucky there. We didn't have to wait very long. So
That was a fast sparrow.
that trick is very RNG because you have to wait for Dooku to throw a barrel in order to get out of bounds. And he regularly will go on a 15 streak and not throw a barrel. It can kill your run very easily. That was very, very good though.
So hitting that load zone, I guess it works like technically like a wrong warp, I guess, because the game
Yeah.
says next scene to load is the ending cutscene. So you hit the transition, which typically you're not meant to reach.
It is interesting that there is a transition there that I guess at one point maybe would have been intended to be able to go back and they changed their mind.
You also technically quick kill him by going super far out of bounds, and then he jumps at you and hits the
Yeah.
death plane.
Yeah, if he jumps
Yeah.
at you while you're out of bounds, and it's timed correctly, he will instantly die.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of looking trying to find a way to get him to jump out of bounds quickly, but everything we found still requires the use of the barrel to get out of bounds, which kind of defeats the point of trying to avoid the barrel RNG.
All right, back to episode 1. We had to let the invasion cook for a little bit.
Everybody's favorite character will be debuted in this level, Jar Jar. And
Unfortunately, we cannot skip him in this game.
also, unfortunately, he will be present in just about all of the cutscenes for the rest of this game, but this is the only level that we'll see him in story.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad. I guess the TT developers hated Jar Jar too.
Imagine if they gave us Jar Jar for Theed. A lot of cool strats you could do. I don't know about a lot, but there would be some.
Jar Jar is a high jump character, and he also moves slightly faster than the Jedi. Fun little combination of traits. It makes him quite
Both
useful for
his-
this level.
I think both his walking speed and jumping speed are faster than theirs. And I think he's one of the few characters in this game because TCS TCS on Wii classically has different moving speeds for Jedi while running and while jumping. In this, most characters move at the same speed whether walking or jumping, except for Jar Jar is slightly faster while jumping.
That's interesting. I did not know that.
It's like barely any faster. Like I think the in the game files, like the speed thing actually just it literally goes into decimals, even though none of the other characters' speed values show decimals.
We kind of yapped over it, but in the previous room, there were a lot of Jar Jar parkour, kind of where the devs kind of underestimated just how far Jar Jar can really jump. There's a lot of things that are right on the edge of possible that let us do cool things.
There's a reason why he does not jump as high in Complete Saga.
Oh, did they nerf him in TCS?
Yeah.
He was too goated. They nerfed Yoda too.
Mm-hmm. They nerfed
Yoda's never been
everyone.
the same.
Actually, they nerfed Yoda in story, but buffed him in free play.
I just wish he
All
hopped
right.
around, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I was about to say on to pod race. I'm getting ahead of myself.
One more before that. We have to escape the Naboo Palace.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure. Does MiSTAKE go for pixel jump in this first round?
I do not go for pixel jump.
Yeah,
It's
that
not-
is
not
perfectly
worth-
understandable.
not
I
worth.
don't go for it. It's very silly.
Yeah, it is pretty silly.
I love pixel jump.
There's a gate over on the right of this little catwalk that we'll see in the back of this first room that if you stand just perfectly under it, you can jump up it. But it's a very, very narrow little bit of collision.
I think there might actually be a way to make it easier. So that gate on the left, if you shoot the one next to it, that'll also go right next to it, and it will be like a larger area that you can hit.
Oh.
I think setting up that shot
Big
would just
brain.
make it not even worth it. And then
Yeah, that's true.
here's a second derp wall, I guess.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure what happened with that is they just extruded the wall on the corners, and they forgot to add collision to the little missing segment that they had extruded out.
Took forever for people to notice that too.
Yeah, that was only found a few years ago. I want to say like 2022-ish, maybe,
Yeah,
maybe
that's brand new.
23.
Like yesterday.
Especially, well, from our perspective, yeah.
If it wasn't found in 2016, it was found yesterday. Co-op targets.
Unfortunately, the PC version of this game has an out of bounds that allows you to skip those targets, but it doesn't work on
Oh.
GameCube.
I learned yesterday that it also works on PS2.
That's what I would have guessed.
Yeah.
GameCube came out, what,
It was the final release.
3 months after all the other versions. So there's some things that are different.
Like nearly 6 months.
Oh, was it that much? That's right. I got gaslit last time. That's what it was.
March to September, I believe. August was Mac. September was GameCube. Shoutouts to Mac.
And I don't know how
Right.
many of the things are like patched versus just happy little accidents. I think they just improved the collision checking a little bit.
Yeah. Onwards to pod race for real this time.
Pod
Cool,
race
you
is
love
another level
pod race.
that's pretty close to an auto scroller. It is really a traditional racer. You can save time by taking better lines, but you just always hold accelerate. So the maximum that you're going to deviate in a run, assuming you don't die somewhere, is only about a second. So for all intents and purposes, it is an auto scroller. It's a fun one though.
I've still yet to prove it, but I do believe that 2 players is slightly faster. But also, you have to fight the camera.
Back in my day, the lore was that you couldn't even complete this level with 2 players.
I don't know why anyone claimed that because Ace
I
and
don't know
I
either.
did it co-op.
I'm sure it was some miscommunication of some more detailed point that was trying to be made.
Ace and I played co-op under rules where you could not drop either player out. Even if the game forced one player out, we considered our run to not be legit.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we were hardcore. So
Was this back when 1P2C would invalidate your solo run too?
Yeah. Yes, Pod Race has 3 sections to the map. There's like the initial race section that has like pits and the ramp and the cave. There's this one that has the Tusken Raiders shooting those rings and then the final curve. And then this third section coming up is just a big open field with a ton of bombs on it. I don't know who left all these bombs here, but yeah.
Well, I'm not sure about these bombs, but Sebulba's throwing bombs at you later. I would hazard a guess that maybe he threw those also.
Don't one of the bombs not even hurt you?
Like some of the bombs, the hitbox is very small on them, so sometimes you can avoid getting damaged pretty easily.
Okay, this cutscene here, it's weird. If you enter it from the far right, you are placed further back at the end of the cutscene or something, and you can't really make it past that pillar in time.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what the positional change is, but I do know that it rotates you clockwise by like 15, 20 degrees.
I think
So
that is
that
actually
that
not the
helps with
position.
that. If you're too close to the right, it'll turn you into the wall, and that bump will slow you down enough the boulder crushes you.
A
Thankfully,
while
just
ago,
entering on the left is safe.
that was the killer of runs a while ago. We were all too busy going to the right. We weren't left-minded. A lot of bombs on that lap.
Third lap
There's
here,
not
we'll have
much
to
to
take a
say.
detour due to the boulder blocking our previous path. Although it seemed that we just passed a boulder that looked suspiciously like the boulder that fell down, and it was standing. So this level is
Well,
funny.
you go a different path in this room each lap. And then the second room changes each time. The first time, this part's clear. Second time, you saw rolling rocks. And now they're just stationary rocks.
And the third room progressively gets more bombs as the race goes on. With the last one with Sebulba actively throwing them out of his pod.
Is the first and second actually different? Do more bomb
I
spam?
think so. I think there's more in the second one.
Oh, I was going to say the third room is the exception, but I guess it's not. Yeah, it's a pretty
It could
simple
just be
level.
the illusion of lap counts.
Yeah. No hitting light speed in this game.
Unfortunately, in this game, if you go out of bounds, you just fall and die. There's no speed up. In fact, if you go outside the bounds of the normal like racetrack, you actually lose a bunch of speed and you start moving very, very slowly.
You don't fall. You can avoid dying, but you don't get any benefit from being out there.
Yeah, and so I don't know about all of it, but I know that a lot of room 1 and 2, like the parts that you would want to corner cut, don't have any floor outside the walls, so you do just fall and die. The last room, there is floor outside, which is where you can be slow, if you are into that. But this is speedrunning. We want to go fast. Moving into Theed now, the penultimate level.
Scene goes back to the first room of Invasion.
Yeah, this one is probably one of the hardest levels of the run. Very, very complicated level right at the end. So many emotions, many runs dies here.
This level is definitely one of the biggest in terms of like how much of it there is. It's also the biggest story party that you'll have in the game, which means that there's a lot of alternate routes that in a normal playthrough would be built for all the different character types to all progress in unique ways. But thanks to some out of bounds, we'll be skipping a lot of that and saving a lot of time.
Actually, it's not even by far 6 characters, and you get 5 in Jedi Battle. I think this is also the level that has seen the largest improvement in segment length over the years.
Probably. It's definitely been one of my most improved. I was always super, super terrible at this level because the other half of this level being very long and very hard and varied in what you have to do to get through it. It's also at the very end of the run. So especially if you're like me, circa 2019, and you don't practice that much and you just do runs, you get here and you don't really know what to do, and it just falls apart every time.
Like me. do a little drop in warp there to pull R2 forward a little faster, since R2 is unfortunately pretty damn slow.
And then in this room, we're going to do the first of 2 out of bounds. This is creatively named Feed Skip.
Feed Skip 1.0.
And like so many out of bounds before it, we're really just moving point A to point B to the end of this room, skipping all of the extra things. Normally, if you played this, you would be building stairs and building an elevator for R2. But
Going up stuff with Anakin. Yeah, the only unique part of that out of bounds is like the beginning, because you have to take that certain path around to the right, or you can also do it to the left, but you have to go through the pillars. You can't just go instantly down. And then this room, affectionately named Theedskit 2.0, you also need to take a specific path because there's lots of invisible walls out of bounds, except for that like one section where you were
yeah,
able to go behind that flower pot.
for example, the like the vent that MiSTAKE jumped around, they had to jump out around that vent because if you walk through the vent, you're just stuck in a vent box and you can't progress any further. So, pretty precise route you have to take through that wall.
There's also the door soft lock that if you're not careful enough, you can get soft locked on that bars that block the door.
This is
Does that
true.
happen on GameCube?
Yeah, it has happened to me many times back in the day.
I just know it happens a lot easier on other consoles.
I was a great victim of that one. I can confirm.
Little trick shot. Not even a trick shot, just a long shot. You can jump up back here to avoid doing like a force elevator thing with the 2 Jedi.
And that's another one that I forgot that the intended strat is to do the little Jedi dual lift thing.
That's so old of a strat. I wonder if runs before mine. I forget if runs before mine used that. The Joseph and Poshak era.
Just a quick little thing, we just golded this team. Not
Oh,
even
nice.
joking.
Nice. It's because I talked about this level being the most improved. You were inspired to improve.
All right, well, that sets a great tone as we move into our final level now, Darth Maul. This is the level that we saved for the very end because the ending cutscene is just so epic and also so long. We don't want to time it.
And then the end level cutscene just makes sense, or the end of episode cutscene just makes sense to be at the end.
The first few rooms of this level are very cool. There's a handful of different strats. The first one in this first room, we're going to be doing a jump similar to the pixel jump we were talking about in Escape. This lamp over here on the wall also has collision that extends all the way downward. And so by standing under it, we can jump up to it and then hopefully jump over to this other side with an extended jump. That jump is kind of difficult. And that saves quite a bit of time. You don't have to fight Maul in the traditional way.
Like that fight is like 2.5 minutes or something.
Oh my goodness.
Probably not that long, but yeah, no one's done it. I don't think any category.
This room has some cool unintentional parkour to skip the intended parkour.
Yeah.
And then in this next room, we'll get to see another wrong warp, a great way to close off the run.
Take it away.
This was devised for a very, very long time. We have wanted to skip this room for many, many, many years. And Thankfully, it did come to us a number of years ago at this point. It's really not that recent of a discovery now. Probably been about 5 years. Basically, player one is going to walk so incredibly far away from the camera, out of bounds right now, that the camera is going to stop following them. It's going to lock the camera in place so that it can only rotate, it can't shift, and it also won't pull the two players. Once that's done, then MiSTAKE is going to take a careful line to move to a position where the next room is loaded. And then when they heard their console load, presumably, I assume they're using disk strats, you can actually hear the console disk drive kind of click as the room gets loaded, and that is your cue to jump into the trigger and move forward. That saves close to a minute, I think.
If I had to explain that, I would have said, yeah, it works.
I mean, that's really all you have to know. It works. It saves a lot of time. It's awesome. You don't have to fight a whole bunch of droids.
And then you just run through that hallway forcing stuff. There is a skip for it, but unfortunately, it's slightly slower.
Unfortunately, there aren't any chances of a quick kill in this room. Maul, I think, if I remember correctly, L's testing showed that Maul, if you can get him to fall down the center, will die. But when he dies, it doesn't trigger the end of the level, and you're just stuck here forever. So, unfortunately, no leads on a quick kill in this room. But time ends on this very last hit. GG's MiSTAKE. GG's
Funny
Heisenburger
thing,
also.
this was a world record for 1 second.
Oh my.
This was actually a world record for 1 second. Because my last Darth Maul was really bad. So, yeah, that's a new world record. 1 second world record.
GG.
GG's.
I looked over at the main stream, saw the timer there, and I was like, whoa, that's a big PB. And then I was like, oh, wait, no, that's very much delayed. Still a PB, though.
Yeah, that's
GG
good.
MiSTAKE.
Thank you. That run was
Heisenburger also.
30 seconds
GG,
behind,
both of
and we
you.
got back on feed and more, basically. It's okay. We'll beat it soon. But I'm happy to get a world record during LEGOthon.
All right. Does anyone have any shout outs they want to give or anything like that?
I think I have to shout out Theo, but that's about all from me.
Oh,
Shout outs to PTZ.
all right. Well, thank you so much for that run to MiSTAKE and Heisenburger. Congrats on the LEGOthon world record. 1 second still counts. And thanks to Listening Cool for your commentary. It was very nice to listen to. We will be right back after this break. Coming up next, it's not quite LSW2, but it is LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga Original Trilogy. So look forward to that coming up next.